Hello everybody. The following exercises are very useful to do if you've done some heavy gardening or even some light gardening but done it for quite a long time, and are very good for opening up the back and loosening the back. And at the end I'm going to give you a few useful tips on how to maybe manage your body a little bit more efficiently and not always put too much strain on one particular side of the body. So you've done lots of gardening, you're feeling tired, so what better way to start than finding a spot on the floor and having a lie down. So find that spot and let's start. So you found your space on the floor, and if you find that your head is tilting back when you lie on the floor, then get yourself a little head cushion, or any little cushion. Mine's a specific Pilates one, but any cushion will do. Close your eyes and congratulate yourself on all the hard work you've done, and allow your body just to relax onto the floor. We concentrate a lot on alignment in Pilates, and it allows the body to be in a more restful position. So the knees and the feet are hip width apart, these hip bones being these bony bits here. And allow yourself to completely relax onto the floor, using your breath to help you do so. One more deep breath. And then bring one knee into your chest, and without arching your back, bring your other knee into your chest. You can have your knees together and gently hug your knees into your chest. And what this does, it slowly and carefully, gently brings that lower back just a little bit off the floor, and then you can release it a touch, and then you draw in towards your chest a little bit more. Keep your shoulders relaxed. If your knees are particularly painful, you can always hold from behind the knees to hug your knees into your chest. And you release, and then draw in once more. That gives a lovely stretch to that lower back. And then release. Then drop your right foot onto the floor and keep hugging your left knee into your chest, and slide your right leg away along the floor. And have that sense of reaching and stretching your right leg away from you as you hug your left knee in. And we'll stay here for a few breaths, keeping your shoulders relaxed, keeping your face and head, neck, especially your jaw relaxed. It's very easy to bring tension into your jaw, and that tenses up the whole of the face and the neck. One more deep breath, hugging the left knee in, reaching the right leg away. And then bring your right leg back, drop your left foot down and hug your right knee in, and slide your left leg along the floor. Keep it on the floor, don't lift it off the floor. And stretch your left leg away and hug your right knee in. Again, keep those shoulders relaxed. It's very easy as you hug your knee in to bring tension into your shoulders, but you want to try and allow your whole body to let go and release. Stay here for a couple more breaths. You can have your eyes closed or your eyes open. It's entirely up to you. Sometimes when you have your eyes closed, you can really focus on how your body is feeling. And then bring your left leg back. And now your right foot goes on the outside of your left knee. Take hold of your right knee and draw diagonally across your body to your left shoulder. And you get a nice stretch in the back of this right buttock, right leg. Again, don't bring tension into your shoulders, and make sure that your left knee doesn't drop in. So keep your left knee in line with the left hip and the right foot on the outside of the left thigh. Gradually encouraging the knee up. It's like a connection, a diagonal connection from the right hip to the left shoulder. It's not going towards the left hip. Gently encouraging that knee a little bit further. And then you can actually bring your left knee up a little bit, and you get a slightly different stretch. You can hold on to your right foot and your right knee and gently encourage the right leg up towards your chest, using your left knee to help you do so. But keep everywhere else relaxed. Now this can be a very strong stretch, so if it's too strong for you, you don't have to bring that foot up. You can just keep the right knee towards the left shoulder, or you can bring it up just a little bit. Don't make it so strong that you can't relax into your breath. So just gently encourage that there. You want to hold these stretches for about half a minute each. And then drop your left foot down, drop your right foot down, keep that right foot and knee in line with the right hip bone, and bring the left foot to the outside of the right knee, and draw the left knee diagonally up and across the body to the right shoulder. And this gets a muscle called the piriformis muscle, which is a deep muscle in your buttocks. And when it gets very tight, it can really pull on your lower back and cause lots of lower back problems. So it's a really great muscle to exercise and stretch out. We hold that there for a few breaths, gently encouraging up and across the body towards your right shoulder. And then to deepen that stretch and also target a slightly different buttock muscle, you bring your right knee up and hold on to your left foot and the left knee and draw towards your chest. And now you notice that the knee is actually towards the same shoulder, the same side, not diagonally opposite. And again, make this as not too strong, so make it as comfortable as possible, but allow your shoulders to stay relaxed, allow yourself to keep breathing into this. The breath is fantastic to use and help release any tension in the muscles. So we'll hold this here for a couple more breaths. And then drop your right foot down and drop your left foot down in line. So we'll do some hip rolls now. So bring your feet together in the middle. Knees and feet stay together. And you're going to keep them as one unit. And then you're going to take your knees and your hips off. So the right hip will come off, but you keep the right shoulder on the floor. And you could turn your head in the opposite direction, keeping your shoulders relaxed, keeping your jaw and neck relaxed. Keep your feet and your knees together. You don't want the knees to slide apart. You want to keep the feet and that top knee lengthened in line with the underneath knee as much as possible, lengthening away from this hip bone. When you come back to the center, pull in your lower abdominal, get your lower back into the floor or the mat, and then we go the other way. Keep the feet together. You'll see the top foot lifts off and the top knee lengthens away to keep in line with the underneath knee, going over as much as possible. There's no arching in the back. Keep your ribs in, make sure there's no arching, just a nice gentle length. The shoulder stays relaxed and you can relax your head in the opposite direction. And close your eyes, which allows you to relax a little bit more, or keep them open, whichever way you feel comfortable with. And then come back to the center, engaging your lower abdominals, pulling in through the pelvic floor, get your lower back into the mat and bring your knees back to the center. We're going to do 2 more each way. You can either stay like that, or if you want to try a stronger stretch, bring your right leg over your left thigh and take your legs over. This gives you a slightly stronger stretch. Roll your head in the opposite direction, keeping your shoulders relaxed, keeping your jaw relaxed. Use your breath to relax into this stretch. And then engaging your core, get your lower back into the floor of the mat to bring your knees back to the center. Keep them crossed as they are and go the other way. Again, only as far as you can keep your left shoulder on the mat, and you can roll your head in the opposite direction. Using your breath to relax into this. And then to come back to the center, pull in your lower abdominal pelvic floor, your core muscles, bring your knees back to the center. And now let's cross the legs the other way. Or if this is too strong for you, just keep your legs together in the center like we did the first 2. So now my left leg is over my right thigh. I'm going to take the knees over towards my left. I'm going to roll my head to the right. And keeping my right shoulder blade on the floor, keeping my shoulders and neck and jaw relaxed. Keep breathing, keep relaxing. And then pull in your core, get your lower back onto the floor as you bring your knees back to the center. Keep your knees crossed, legs crossed as they are, and take them the other way, that the left shoulder stays where it is. So there's never any arching in your back. You never want to have any arching in your back because that just creates tension. And you're trying to let all that tension go after your gardening. So relax here for a couple of breaths. I'm going to close my eyes and really focus on how my body is feeling. And then I'm going to come back to the center, pulling in my core, getting my lower back into the floor, and then I'm going to uncross my legs. So come back up with one leg and then the other leg in towards your chest. Have your knees together and put one hand on each knee. And now do some little circles around your back of your pelvis and into your lower back. Keep pulling in your core, keep the shoulders relaxed. As you take your legs away from you, make sure you don't arch your back too much. Use your core to control that. So we'll do one more circle in this direction, then come back to the center and then reverse. So for these, we're keeping the knees and the feet together. Just make the circles as little as big as you feel comfortable with. There shouldn't be any strain on your lower back. You're finding that lovely outer rim of your pelvis, which feels so good when you massage it. One more circle and come back to the center. And now keep one hand on each knee and take the knees in concentric circles. Again, don't make them too big that you arch your back. This is just a nice hip opener. It just loosens up the hips. So just think of that thigh bone circulating in the hip socket. And then let's reverse. Sometimes people like to keep their feet together, and sometimes people like to have their feet apart. So experiment. Find which one gives you the most release. This is a really good way of loosening up those hips. And we'll do one more circle. Bring your knees back to the center, drop one leg down and then the other. Great. Okay, let's come on to all fours now, and we're going to do the cat. So get yourself into 4-point kneeling position. Your knees are below your hips and your wrists are below your shoulders. Never sink into your wrists. Use your body to reach away from your wrists. Your back is flat, but you've got your pelvis in neutral, so you don't want your back like that, and you don't want it dropped like that. Just enough to allow a spoonful of water in your lower back. And your neck is in line, it's not dropped down like that, so keep your neck in line. For each of these cats, we're going to start with the pelvis and end with the head. So breathe in here. As you breathe out, pull in your tummy, tuck your bottom round, and then bring the rest of your spine up to the ceiling and drop your head to look between your knees. Reach away from the floor here and breathe into your back. And then remember to keep your head down. You're going to start with the pelvis and you're going to work through the spine and end with your neck and the head. And then you stick your bottoms towards the back wall and bring your neck and head up through your chest, but don't bring your shoulders to your ears. Keep your shoulders away from your ears and have that sense of stretching your spine. And now start from the pelvis and end with the head. Full breath in here and start with the pelvis. So I'm not going forward and back of my hips, I'm just taking my spine up to the ceiling, and then I'm sticking my bottom to the back wall and bringing my chest up to the front. Then I start with the pelvis and I end with the head. Reach away from the floor here, reach that spine up to the ceiling. Start with the pelvis and end with the neck and the head. Nice full breath here. Also, now you can think about stretching through the front of your spine. Start from the pelvis and end with the head. And we're going to do one more each way. Start from the pelvis, lengthening that bottom away from you so you're not collapsing in the lower back. Breathe in and then one more. Start with the pelvis and end with the head. And breathe in here and then come back to neutral. So keep your knees wide and bring your feet together and take your bottom back on towards your heels. Now if you can't reach the heels, don't worry, then just come to whatever position is comfortable. And you want to get your head on the floor. Now if your head doesn't reach the floor, then get yourself a cushion, however many cushions it takes, or you can have your head on your hands like this. But if your head can reach the floor, then that's absolutely brilliant. You can reach your arms in front and you get a stretch through the front of the arms. But if that's too uncomfortable, or if you have a shoulder problem, then take your arms by your side. So you can be in whatever position your body allows, high or low. And while you're in this position, focus your breath into your back. Full breaths, and allow that rib cage to expand out to the side as you breathe in and come back together as you breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out. Have that sense of relaxing your bottom towards your heels. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Now, if your knees allow, you can stay sitting on your heels and come back and restack your spine till you're nice and tall. But if that doesn't allow, if your knees hurt you doing that, then you can come into high kneeling, but always start from the pelvis. Get that pelvis all the way back round in neutral and lengthen your spine away from the hips. Fantastic. Okay, so all the exercises that we've just done are excellent after gardening, but also if you've been doing any other kind of heavy lifting or anything that involves putting slight strain on your lower back. So it's a very useful set of exercises to do. But also with gardening, I just want to give you a few extra tips or little ways to help balance out the body, not to put too much strain on one particular side of the body. So I've got here a trowel and a spade and a rake. So if, for instance, you're digging with a trowel, often you tend to be on one knee and you're digging. So always make sure that you swap whichever knee that you use. So don't always have the same knee down and the same knee up. If you can swap arms, even better, but if you can't, well then you can't. But if you can, it's always good to try it. But always do that, because it's just putting a slightly different stress on the knees and also on the waist and the lower back. So that's for using a trowel. With digging, and this can be with a spade and with a fork, we tend to favour our legs and we can dig always with one foot. But try and get used to digging using the other foot occasionally too. So you can swap, and that way you keep everything balanced. And even how you hold the fork or the spade with one hand lower and one hand up here can make a difference to how you're using your shoulders and your whole back. So if you can keep your body as balanced as possible, then that puts as little strain on it as possible. With sweeping or with raking with leaves or with grass, we tend to always favour how we hold the rake, but occasionally swap round. Hold and have the other leg as you rake, and again that's the same with using a brush and sweeping. So that's also another handy tip. With pruning, we tend to use these muscles here a lot. And if you've done a lot of pruning, they can get very, very tight. It's actually what we can call a sort of tennis elbow kind of injury, but it's a repetitive strain injury on this particular muscle. So, get yourself any kind of cream. It can be a body cream, it can be a hand cream, it can be some oil, and rub it onto your forearm. You want to do this side and that side as well, and have your other thumb facing towards the elbow and run up between. You can feel there's a little groove here, a little furrow, and you can work this muscle. And you can do that with both the inside of the arm and the outside of the arm, and really work that. And if it's very tight and very tender, then just gradually, gently work into it. So there's a point on the elbow where the muscle attaches, which can get very tender. And to find this point, you want to bend your elbow. It's very difficult to find with a straight arm. So bend your elbow and put your thumb one side and the finger on the other. You feel two bony notches, which is the bony attachments to the muscle. And you can gently massage over with your thumb. It can feel very tender. And if it does, don't avoid it, but just go gently. And after a little bit of time, that tenderness will go away. It might not go away the first day, but certainly if you do it the next day. So you want to just massage all the forearm and this muscle. The muscle you can feel is along the top here, and you can find the furrow both behind the arm and on the forearm. And again, you can massage around your palm here, massage around your thumb that's been doing all the gripping. And you can stretch your fingers and your forearm like that, and that gives it a nice stretch. You can just very gently stretch your thumb like that, and you can also stretch your hand the other way. Keep your arms straight for both these stretches and just stretch there, and you can even massage there. So that's very useful if you've done lots of pruning or any kind of work where you're using your finger and your thumb and doing quite fine movements. So I hope that's all been very helpful for you, and I hope you've enjoyed those exercises. Remember, you don't have to get changed, just come in, lie down on the mat and just do a few stretches and you'll feel a whole load better after that. So hopefully see you another time. Many thanks.